Hi everyone, my name is Brian. Thank you everyone so much for spending your time here. And I am from Polygon, doing research and DevRel engineer. And today I'll be talking about what it's like for a developer to build on top of Katana, which is a DeFi-focused layer 2 that is incubated by Polygon. So this is my contact. If you have any questions, this is the contact to go for. But we also have Katana community Telegram channels, which I'll share in a bit. So let's first go through what Katana is. And Katana is a chain specifically designed for DeFi. It rethinks about what DeFi can offer. Whereas, whenever there's like other chains, they kind of have the chain first, and then there comes the other DeFi components or protocols building on top of it. Whereas for us, we built this layer 2 from ground up with all of these like DeFi projects out there. Together, we ship this massive DeFi ecosystem that has the best yield possible and also the highest, deepest liquidity. And we launched it with SushiSwap, Morpho, AUSD, which is from Agora, and there's a lot of other utilities involved as well. And what we're hoping is by providing such platform, from users' perspective, their idling assets or all of their just assets sitting on top of Katana can earn yield by default by just holding on it. And also the other way around, from developers' perspective, is they can build a DeFi protocol that can leverage these like DeFi primitives that we provide for both users and developers. So let's get into, so this is a docs page, is docs.katana.network. Most of the website is going to be katana.network or katana.tools. So this is a documentation that you want to check it out. But we also have this amazing sort of a tools listing page where we have all of our tools prepared for developers. First off is Special K, which is like a starter kit where we have basically added all of those like DeFi components, like the SushiSwap APIs and Morpho APIs and a lot of like Chainlink APIs and all of those for you to communicate with different ecosystem or already existing ecosystem on top of Katana. The faucets and Superdocs, which is what I'm going to be heavily talking about today, and also block explorers out there, as well as some of the contract directories, which is some of these already pre-deployed contracts that you as a DApp developer can tap into to access their liquidity, to access their swap interfaces or their lending protocol interfaces, etc. And also the stablecoin interface as well, which is quite, I think it's a quite interesting thing to play around with. But coming back here, today what we'll be focusing on is the Superdoc, which inside it has this hacker Springboard category, which I pre-opened up here. So starting from this superdocs.katana.tools, so it is basically a documentation that we prepared for hackathon builders, and where, from your perspective, if you want to get a quick grasp of it and also just want to know where the things are, this is like sort of that navigation portal. We also enable this AI sort of assistant tool where if you have any questions about some of the terminologies or how it works, you can ask it here. It's just like ChatGPT everyone has used here before. So let's go to the quick start session. So in the quick start, it kind of tells you how to get started with the Special K, which is our starter kit. I'll go through it at the last section, but once you deploy it, what we will be achieving is you will be having a local instance of the network that have all of these like DeFi components pre-deployed for you, the SushiSwaps and all of these Morpho and all of these like contracts ready for you, so that when you're testing, you don't really have to test it on the testnet. You can just test it on the local net to figure things out. But that's the starter kit there. And then using AI assistants, this is just what I talked about using the asking AI info. And then for Katana, we have 3 main testnets. One is Katana, another one is Bokuto, and another one is Tatara. Katana is the main net. The name Katana is the sword. That's why you see a lot of cat holding a sword. That's what it is about. So all the network info is here, and if you want to add it to your MetaMask, you just click on this, and you should be able to. I just want to make sure you're seeing this. Okay. Yeah, just confirm it, and you'll have it. And Bokuto is the one that is connected to Sepolia. So you can also test it out if you want to test out bridging. So you can try it out with the Bokuto. Bokuto. Yeah. And Tatara is also a testnet, which has a little bit different properties compared to Bokuto. So you can test things out, then let us know if you have any questions. And then coming down to testnet tokens. So this is a little bit special about us, where if you're actually building on Katana, you need to come to our booth and ask for testnet faucet tokens. And when you do that, you're gonna get all of our support. You can ask us your questions and all of those. So when you get into the faucet portal, so faucet.katana.tools is going to ask for redemption code. That's what we have at the booth. So please come to us if you're building and you need the testnet faucets. And we'll provide you for the Tatara or Bokuto as well. And during that process, we'll help you validate your ideas, talk to you, really understand what you're trying to build, and then tell you, hey, these are what is available from our ecosystem that you should really leverage to maximize your winning chance. There are a couple of projects that talked to us already when I was at the booth. I'm more than happy to follow up if you're here or if you're new, but come to us. There's a Katana booth. Yeah, so that's just a quick get started. From a hacker's perspective, I would recommend you to quickly get just scan through this page to understand what Katana's value position is and why, as a DeFi builder, you want to build on top of Katana other than other protocols. Or even if you're building DeFi primitives, DeFi solutions using other protocols, you can still tap Katana into that solution for this highest yield generation possible and also the deepest liquidity. So yeah, this is sort of that page. And then from here, you will be able to see the developer kits that we provide, which is a special K. And this developer group chat is where I would encourage everyone here who's interested in developing to join, because we have this amazing guy who's like always there 24/7, going to answer all of your questions. Yeah, he's not AI. He's a human. He's based in Croatia, but he's awesome. Right? He built all of these tool stacks ready for you guys, so he poured his hours into it. He wants you guys to win. So please join in, and then that's where all the conversation will come in. So if you go to superdocs.katana.tools, and then there's Hackers Springboard, you'll be able to see the developer chat. This is the Telegram group chat. All right. And developer tools and all of these you can try to figure out. And then Ecosystem Explorer will help you explore, hey, what are some of the building blocks that I can tap into and how they can work with each other. All right. So that's about that for the springboards. And some of the Katana primitives will be about the native yield generation stablecoin that we provide, AUSD, which is basically meaning if you're holding on that asset, it's generating yield by default. And then we also have a vault bridge, which is instead of just bridging from one chain to another, if you bridge it via the vault bridge, what you're getting is a native yield generating token at your destination chain. So by doing so, your bridging activity is also generating yield. And then SushiSwap v3 is also available. You can tap into their ABI as well. And then Morpho, which is the lending market, and some of the others like price oracles provided by Chainlink and Redstone, as well as Gnosis Safe for multi-sig, and just deployment, etc. Create 1, create 2, create 3. They're all supported. And we also have our bridge, which is agglayer for bridging between different ecosystems that are connected on agglayer. But if you also want to connect to chains that are not connected to agglayer, you can tap into LayerZero, which could be an additional bounty that you can play with. And then native converters are when you bridge some tokens from other chains to via Bolt Bridge or some other chains to Katana, then if you want to convert it to the native asset itself, we also have this ABI contract available for you, the native converter. So you can tap into it. And some of the others would just be more specific into your use cases that you can tap into. Just take a look at this dot, see what's helpful, then you can play around with it. We also provided this what to build list. So as a developer, you might be thinking, okay, I get that DeFi is cool, and then you guys have all the DeFi components and engine available, but what can I build on top of it? There's a lot of information to really understand and then really filter out what is really needed for my application. I mean, as a developer myself, I would always start with the problem statement. And from there, I narrow it down to, okay, these are some of the technology that I might need to use and then really package them into a product. So these are some of the ideas or problem statements that we have stated that we encourage you guys to check it out. Not necessarily have to use this, but it's an encouragement that you can check it out and understand, okay, these are some of the problems that is still existing in Katana ecosystem, which likely will really highly value, but not biased for sure. But we have UX and wallet related, and also some of the front-end apps in terms of, okay, can you build a router? And also some of the backend services in terms of, can you build like intent relayer, like a solvers network, etc. And some of the DeFi related, just make the DeFi primitive that we have right now even better. And AI x crypto, this is something, I think everybody's thinking about. Okay, how can I combine AI with crypto? And it could be just off-chain strategy, right? You have an AI strategy that is running, and you're just reading the states from on-chain, and then you're based on the state changes, you trigger actions, and then you run it. It's like a Zapier. Or it could be like, I don't know, just like you calculate some sort of score using some simpler AI model. It doesn't have to be LLM for categorization and calculating. And for that result itself can also be fed into on-chain for different DeFi contexts like risk calculations. There's a lot of things that you can do with AI, I think. I think the essence of AI x crypto, at least personally, I feel like it's about having that computation that is not available on blockchain. You do it somewhere else off-chain. You can do it trustlessly, or you can do it just trustfully. Trustlessly means it's permissionless, or trustfully means you have to rely the trust on the operator. But regardless, you're doing that massive computation that can't be done on blockchain. You do it off-chain, and then you trigger state changes on blockchain. I think that's a general philosophy that I see. But yeah, if you have any interesting thoughts or ideas, feel free to come to our booth and talk to us about it. And at cross-chain, it's something very big. We actually have a specific bounty for this as well, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. In infra and tooling, we also have a bounty for this because it's a new chain. We need a lot of toolings. Right now we have been building a lot of tools in-house, but we encourage a lot of outsourcing and having you guys, awesome developers, to build actual toolings that you find useful for us. So before we get into the hands-on part, I just want to quickly go through some of the prices. So we've been through the Springboard. Okay, so for this, it's basically 4 major categories. Like I said, Katana is a very new chain, so we really would encourage you as a developer, if you can build out some dev tools that you found, it will be very useful for Katana. Even if it's some tools that you found really useful in other ecosystem that doesn't exist in us, that would be really nice too. So integration of those tools and enabling a better developer experience, DevX, will be really helpful. That's one track. And the second will be, I've always talked about, we're a DeFi chain. So all of these like DeFi Lego blocks, can you use them to the maximum capacity? So building a protocol or strategy or some sort of a DeFi product that offers users the best yield or some sort of better best DeFi experiences, that will be something we were keen to see, because that's basically the goal of this chain, is having the best DeFi experiences possible. And then cross-chain, we don't want to just limit ourselves in us. We also want to be able to tap into other ecosystem. Polygon built this thing called agglayer, which is sort of this cross-chain communication, unifying the liquidity, unifying communication between cross-chain communications. So the purpose of that is because we don't want users to feel like they're interacting with different chains whenever they have to switch the network, switch the gas fee. We just want it to be unified, a single experience. And Katana, in this case, would just be a liquidity and sort of a yield generating sort of a station. But it's still in this one giant umbrella. And some of the other use cases, maybe social focus or maybe payment focus, all of those can be happening on other chain. But when you have idling assets, you can bridge to Katana, right? And then generating yields for users, that's sort of a really good win-win situation. So use the traits of Katana, the yield generation, the deep liquidity well, with this cross-chain context will be really helpful as well. And the Open Dojo, this is just experiments, right? You can do anything you want with, now that you have known a little bit about Katana, so you can think about what you can build on top of it, like AI agents, games, NFT projects, all accepted in this one category, this Open Dojo. And a Grow to Pi is basically like a plus alpha. So if you use these stacks very well, then yeah, you can actually you can apply for this track as well. It's like an additional track that you can go for. All right, so that's it for like a quick rundown of the resources, what Katana is, and also the mission. And as a developer, what you really should focus on, the problem that we're solving, is DeFi focus and some of these like 4 tracks that I talked about. So let's just quickly go through Special K, and because Special K is this starter kit that you can use to the starter kit that you can use to build your Katana applications. And I want to go through what Special K is and then what it contains. So let's go to README first. I'm just gonna do a little bit manually. Yeah. So it's a starter kit, and what it prepared for you guys is basically it's an Anvil environment with all the Forge contract pre-deployed contract interfaces ready, and all of the testing frameworks, all of the deployment frameworks, all of those set up ready for you. All you need to do is just find the right folder, add your application logic to it, and then use these components that we have already added for you in the starter kit, and deploy it, ship. That's it. So let's go through them one by one. So this is essentially a front end plus smart contract project starter. And the smart contracts are all sitting in the contracts folder. So when you download it from, I'm getting this order wrong, but I should start from here. But this is Katana network, and then Special K. This is the URL. And then when you download it, this is the repo that you'll be getting. And then inside it, we have a couple of folders. What matters the most is the contract folder and the Forge folder, and also the script folder and some of the source folder. So let's start one by one. For contract folders are basically all the contracts, all the Lego blocks, the DeFi Lego blocks that are already deployed on Katana. We have it listed here. Right? If you're using an Oracle, you can use Chainlink Oracle, and these are the interfaces. And we just pack them all together in one place. And when you compile this contract folder, then you will get a ABI folder where you can import directly into the smart contract that you're building. So you don't have to go Google, hey, what is a Chainlink Oracle ABI and how do I use it? Don't do that. It's here, right? Just use it. So we have all of these ready, and also like SushiSwap, Morpho, Agora, all of those APIs are ready for you here. So let me just collapse that. So these two are basically for that purpose. Just tap into the Legos of Katana. And then examples is basically this is sort of that folder will show you the front end that we have built. I'll show you in a bit. And then Forge is where you want to build your smart contract, right? If you're building a DeFi protocol, of course, you're going to build a smart contract. And it's in Solidity. Katana is in Solidity. So this is basically a Foundry project. We named it Forge folder. And then inside it, you will have your tests. You can define it here. You have your source. You have your deployment scripts. All of those, you can define it here. So let's say if you want to build something that connects to LayerZero, then you'll be importing the LayerZero smart contracts into this folder, the source folder here. Create a folder called like lib, LayerZero. And then inside it, you have the interfaces of LayerZero. And then you will build a logic in here, say crosschain.sol, and that will interact with the LayerZero. All that will happen in this Forge folder. And then last but not least would be from the scripts folder. These are some of the pre-written scripts that we have for building APIs or just like playing around with the Special K framework. So I'll show you. These are all npm commands that you can play with, or we are using the bun package. So they're all pre-written here. So we have a build command, which is building the project itself, and then dev is like after you either build it or you build it and then you have it live, right? It's like a developer server mode. So that's a dev mode. And then you can start a local chain by specifying, say, start Anvil. And then you can verify whether the chain is started via verify Anvil. And then some of these are basically, I can either build the ABIs, build all of these like, ABIs from the contract folder, or I can build the contract directory. So all of these, we also have an MCP support. So basically, you can add the MCP services from the docs, from some of those that we have added as well. And examples. And for smart contracts specifically, we have Forge commands for you for building it, testing it, and deploying it. So let's just test out how do you get started. So let's say I just downloaded the Special K. And what I need to do right now is I want to get started with starting a local testnet. So the command here would be, I first need to bun install, which is installing all of the dependencies and everything, which I've done already, but I'm just going to quickly do it. So it's going to install all of the packages and everything, just like npm install. And after you have done it, and what you do is run build all. And what this is going to do is, remember we have the contract folder. The contract folder has all of these like Morpho, these like pre-written APIs, and they're going to generate the API for you so that we can tap into it. So this is what it's doing. It's going to take a little bit of time. And then while do so, what we also need to do is we need to create a .env file that specify all the RPCs and also some of the addresses. We have a .env.example available for you, which is right over here. So what you do is just you copy and paste it and then create a new one called .env, and then the system will recognize it and use it. All right, now that the build has done, we can start a fork. So there are three forks that you can do. One is doing a fork for Tatara. Another one is Bokuto. Another one is Katana. Depending on the use cases and what you want to build with, if you want to interact with the Sepolia fork and stuff, then you should test it with Bokuto. If you want to interact with the mainnet forks, then you want to do it with the Katana network. So let's just play around with Bokuto. And just by typing this command, it's going to start an Anvil chain, and it's already live here. And let's verify whether if it's running. So by doing so, what we're getting is Bokuto fork is ready for use. If you want to connect your MetaMask to the local Anvil fork, here are some of the stats. So you just add this into the chain configuration, then you'll be able to connect to the local Anvil. So basically on here, on the MetaMask, you can just go to setting and the networks, what's somewhere. Yep. And then you can add custom network, and this is where you specify the local fork of your Anvil. Then you'll be able to interact from your front end to this blockchain network. All right. So now that it's ready, then you can just kind of just build out different example DApps and then deploy it via running the npm scripts. So if you remember, we have build, where is it? Yeah, we have the forge deploy. So it's like when you're writing your smart contract, what you can do is run forge. Let's say you finish running your smart contract, you can just do like run forge build. Then what it's going to build is going to build all of the smart contracts that is written in this forge folder, which is your application logics. And once you finish building it, you can also do like testing to make sure that you have no bugs with it. And also, if you want to deploy, you can just do deploy, and it's going to deploy to the local testnet that you just spun off in this terminal right here. Yeah. And then last but not least, once that's done, if you want to test out your front end and the smart contracts, it would be bun run dev or bun run build. But essentially, it's if you want to see it live, then it should be bun run dev. And if you do so, it's going to open up a website at 8080. Then we have this sort of this demo front end ready for you. And this website sits in this source folder inside here. It's already here, and then you can test it out. Sorry, not here. It's in the example folder, this HTML index.html. And then this is where you want to implement your front ends for your DApp. So yeah. That's pretty much it. So as a developer, what you need to focus on, figuring out the problem statement, understand what Katana really provides, and then from there you figure out your product implementation. And now you want to implement, you go to special K, and then this is your front end folder, example wrapping, and this is your smart contract folder, and you write them, and then you use our pre-prepared commands, like for smart contracts, which is the forge commands, for website command, which are these. And then these are for local chain forks. And then you interact, you test, you finish, and then you submit, and we'll review it. And that's about it.